Oh my god. uh Welcome to Webfishing stream. Um I am a little bit sick still. So how you say? Sorry if I cough or sneeze into the mic. Well, not directly into the mic. The mic is up there anyway, so um yeah. Sorry. I have not really planned for this. Um, as you might be aware if you've been keeping track of my previous streams, I was a bit sick before, and then I went on a trip and I went because I thought I was doing better, and then I wasn't doing better. Hey, and I got worse. But oops, yeah, I have medicine now, and I will be getting better. But I'm a bit tired. I'm a bit lonked, so yeah. But I figured I could talk a bit about what I've been doing. Um. Oh, ooh, raining. Okay, perfect. Oh, well, okay. I am. No. Oh, it's going that way. Okay. Let's chase the rain cloud. Um. Yeah. I went to the UK. To visit a friend and also go see Baby Metal um at their concert, and that part was pretty good. uh but yeah, ew. I'm so tired. It's taking so much focus to just talk and play this game. Might have to cut this one short. um but yeah, I was sick, but I was doing better, so I decided, well, I'll go to Edinburgh. Um, and I did, but oh my god. Um, First of all, it was strange to travel out of the EU since hashtag Brexit happened. Um, so I ended up going to the oop, well, not what I planned exactly, but okay, the alien parts are up there. Um, it counts as an international flight now, going to the UK. And I have to say, uh, the international side of Helsinki Airport is so much nicer than the domestic one, which, you know, on some level, understandable, because, like, people doing international flights and transfers risk being stuck there for a long ass time. So, you know, I don't begrudge them uh having a slightly more decent time. Uh at the airport. Oh, okay. No, never mind then. But like, that's not going to count, is it? No. Um, Please. I just want to reach the debris. Okay. If I boop all the way over there, maybe. Yeah, this should do it. Okay. And for some reason the automatic passport check and stuff didn't work for me and all of that. Wee, fish. And it was a hole. Oh. Isn't? Okay. What was the... Oh, it was double. No wonder it didn't work. Okay, oh! Okay, that's not a strat for me, apparently. Yeah, so that was a whole adventure. And then because I was sick, like usually I'm fine flying. Like I have a fear of flying, but that's different. But this time I got such pain in my ears when we were landing too. Nightmare. But I arrived in Edinburgh. It went relatively smooth. And the moment I reached my friend's place where I was staying at first, they were like, "Okay, well, we're going out," and I was like, "Okay," and they dragged me out to a whiskey tasting experience. Like I don't drink at all, so I was just there for the show and for the mocktails. My sister tried tasting what's it called? Whiskey straight. I was like, nope, never mind, that was not for me. Which was very funny. And it was something for sure. But I will say the staff there very engaged, very very helpful. Like if you have any allergies or like dietary restrictions, or if you're like me, don't drink alcohol and also have diabetes, they were very helpful with not just giving you an alcohol free alternative, but also like they got out a list of ingredients for me so that I could check the amount of carbs in there for how much insulin I should take and stuff like that. So on that front, very positive experience. Was it worth the cost? Maybe not if you're if you're not someone who likes who is at least interested in whiskey. But they did for people who took the alcohol-free options, they did give you like I think they called it a driver's kit. So that if you're like the designated driver of the group, you can still try some of the. It was like I think 4 little bottles um, of different types of whiskey to taste, um, so that you can participate later if you want. I'm gonna probably give it as a gift to some relative. Uh, but it was fun to see my friend and my sister in Edinburgh. Um, and the day after that, my sister was moving on to go see another friend. Um, so I saw her off at the train station, and then I went to a fruit market, which is right. It's an art gallery right by the train station. That was really interesting. They also have a cafe, but it was really crowded when I was there, so I didn't bother. But they have a really nice gallery, um, and they also have a really nice gift and bookshop. So I got an art book with the um, artist who's featured there now. I don't remember her name. Let's see if they have it on their website. I'll just let this fish go if it goes. Let's see. Fruit market, Edinburgh. There we go. That's .co.uk. It wasn't that one. Have they switched? Who's featured there now? I don't want to see your forthcoming events. Looks like they've switched who is featured there right now. What's on? Yeah, okay, they've changed exhibition. Oh, okay. Well, I don't remember her name off the top of my head. I only dropped in because I knew it was an art gallery that I'd seen was in central Edinburgh, so I was like, might as well pop by. And it was a really good one, but not on the website right now. And then I walked up to the National Museum of Scotland, which I was pretty tired at the point where I got there. But I decided to do to go to the part where they had Scottish history. But because I was a bit sick and tired, I only made it through one of the floors for Scottish history, and I think it was roughly the medieval period. Very interesting. A lot of artifacts, like the woodworking, was really, really cool to see. I'm sad though that I didn't have the time and energy to do more of Scottish history. If I go back there sometime when I'm healthier and have more energy and time. I'd like to see more of it. Um, but yeah, just looking around casually and reading some things, but not everything. It still took me like what, at least an hour and a half um, to get through that one floor. I think it was the third floor. And that was just the Scottish history part. So like, there's definitely things to see there. They have a lot of different things also. They have like modern history also. They have uh animal kingdom, and I think they had like dinosaurs, and they also had like art and design sections that I peeked through um on my way past the gift shop. Um the gift shop was really nice too. I bought a Christmas tree ornament for my family of the what they call the chess pieces, the famous ones. can't can't remember them off the top of my head right now. But you'll definitely see them featured if you go to uh, the National Museum of Scotland. Excuse me. They're pretty funny little creatures. Um, they also had a really nice Hnefatafel set, which is like the I guess you could briefly sum it up as Viking chess. Um, but it was kind of expensive, and I wasn't entirely sure how well I'd be able to bring it home, so I didn't buy it, but it was very pretty. One day I want my own set also. I know we have one that Dad bought when we were kids. Not from Scotland, but I think he bought it in Norway. But it would be nice to have my own. I did buy a Dolly, Dolly the sheep tote bag because the design was cute. Um, I kind of wanted a t-shirt, but the version that I liked the most was only for kids, I think, so didn't get that one. They also had really nice like um woven scarves and other handcraft there. Uh, so definitely worth a peek just through the gift shop if you're looking for like nice souvenirs. They also have a nice it was they also have a really nice roof terrace where you get a good view um over Edinburgh. Woohoo! Hello, that's a big sunfish. Nice. Um, let's switch baits actually. How did we do that again? B? E. Yeah, so I recommend going up there. If you're not starting at level 1 of the terrace elevator though, um if it's busy, it's basically impossible to get up to get into the elevator um from any other floor than the first floor if you're pressing the up button, because what it will do is it will go down to the bottom to get people and then go up towards the roof terrace. But because if there's a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of people on floor 1, so the elevator will be full, and then no one on any other floor will be able to get in. So I was sitting there, and 2 full elevators passed me by on the 3rd floor. Uh, so But then an older couple came by and realized that, oh, this is gonna be an elevator nightmare. Um, so they uh they were like, okay, well, let's press the down button and then I guess get into the elevator while it's empty on the way down and ride down to the first floor and then ride all the way back up to the terrace. And that worked. So that's an elevator strat for the National History Museum of Scotland. If you're trying to get to the roof terrace, but the elevator's full. Hmm. What else did I do? I went to a nice vegan bar slash restaurant pub situation. Um, they had really nice vegan hamburgers, and the one I had was called the Fuck Mondays, and it had lasagna in it. Um, which was interesting. It wasn't like bread around a piece of lasagna. It was like a burger with like two slices ish of lasagna pasta and filling between along with all the other normal-ish burger fillings. So it was very good. They also had nice fries. Um, and then the day after that, I went to a breakfast all day place that had also had vegan options. So I took like um the vegan breakfast option, and well, it was very good. Um, Hash browns, eggs, um, what else was there? Beans, um, and I got some tea as well. I feel like there was something else that I'm forgetting. Toast, for sure. I feel like there was something else, but I don't remember. And when I sat there, um, uh, a Swedish father-daughter combo sat down on at the table next to mine, and I was like, "Oop!" And they were like, while I was there, at least the daughter was mainly complaining about like some family argument situation, and I was like, "Uh-oh." I don't think I'm supposed to be hearing this and understanding it. And up to that point, I'd been feeling like tired, and like nose runny, but okay-ish. But then when I was sitting there and like finishing up my breakfast, I blew my nose and it was just like fully red, like blood red, and I was like, oh, time to go home and rest. And like, it wasn't like bleeding like crazy. It was like the snot was bloody. It wasn't like I was having nosebleed otherwise, but it's not normal for me. Like I've never had that much blood in my snot, so I was like nervous. Um, but at the same time, it's like I don't have healthcare in the UK, so I was like, well, what do I do? But fortunately, the Finnish healthcare system has an app through which you can do video on phone calls. So I video called um, a nurse who was like seemed just like very disinterested in everything I was saying. But I got a prescription for medicine in the UK. Um, and my friend is a nurse, well, doctor. Actually, I'm not sure what she's working as right now, title wise, but doctor. Um, and so I just mentioned to her that like, hey, I'll be at your in your home today, just like resting a bit, cause like doing worse. But I got like contact with healthcare in Finland and like got this prescription. And so she told me like of a pharmacy nearby that I could go to. But at that pharmacy, they just they were very nice about it, but they were like, well, we can't we can't fill this prescription, and so they directed me to Boot, which is like pharmacy and related products. Um, but at the point, it wasn't very far away, so I walked. But at the point that I reached them, they were at lunch. So I was like, I now realized I was like tired, um, blood in my snot, hungry. So I was like, well, this is a bad bad situation. But like, if I go home and lie down, I'm not gonna make it out again. Like, not that I not that I'd perish, but like I'd get sleepy and go to sleep. Um, so I went and sampled a grocery store that was nearby and bought uh snacks and easily edible food things. And then by the time I got back to the pharmacy, lunch break was almost over, and there were two women waiting outside when I arrived. Um, and I assumed they were customers, also. But then when they opened the doors, they rushed in behind the counter, so I was like, oh, they worked here and couldn't get in. Like there was someone inside who opened it from the inside. But there they did help me and were like, well, we don't have these exact things, but we have these, analogous things. So I was like, okay, great, and I bought it. And I was like worried that it would be super expensive because I'm not in the UK healthcare system and getting medicine um there. But it turned out to be like £7, yeah. So um it wasn't that bad. But it was like, okay, great. And then I went back home to my friend's place and rested for the rest of that day. Um, and then basically I rested the rest of the next day too, up until the point that it was time for me to move on to the hotel I was at for the rest of the Edinburgh stay, because my friend had other plans also, so I couldn't stay the entire time there. Um, and I'm so glad. Oh, that's a cute eel. Um, I'm so glad that I didn't settle for less when booking a hotel room. Like it wasn't a cheap room, but it wasn't super expensive because I got a deal on it. Um, but like normally if I'm healthy and like doing things outside, I don't care super much about the hotel conditions. Like obviously I wanted to be clean and somewhat comfortable, but like it's fine if it's not the fanciest thing if I'm out and doing stuff. But now that I was sick and had to go back and rest and spend several hours awake and not doing things in the hotel, it was very nice to have a decent one. Um, it's even had a bath. So the first evening when I was there, I just took a bath after dinner and it was pretty nice. But like, I don't understand in, I think like in the EU in general, the baths are like long, but they're never deep enough. So like, you end up, if you're like me, you have to choose like which body parts are going to be up in the cold air if you're in the bath. Because you can't submerge all of it. Which is like, come on. It's 2025. Surely we have the technology to make baths that are maybe even shorter, but that are deep enough that it covers your body, which you want in a bath. I don't get it. But it was pretty nice to take a warm bath. And then I ended up in bed watching, I think it was like a gardening. No, it was the Great British Bake Off that night, and then was it Law and Order? I don't remember in which order I watched things. I definitely watched like Law and Order, Criminal Minds, um, the Great British Bake Off, and then it was like a gardening show where they remade people's gardens. It was actually pretty nice. They managed to make a like a short like a small garden with like brick walls around. Very very open feeling and inviting, which was impressive. Um on like a budget too. So that was actually very nice to see. And then there was this one game show, quiz show, where they were standing on like moving treadmills. Like it wasn't like a band that you were walking on, like it was you stood still on the treadmill looking thing, but the treadmill looking thing entire moved if you got questions right. And that one was like, oh, I forgot to change bait. And that one was like interesting because you could sort of like you couldn't fully just stall, like they had mechanics in place um to make it so that you couldn't just run out the clock, but at the same time you did have some time. So if you were close to the goal and you didn't know a question, if you didn't reply and the treadmill-y thing would keep running. So there were some people who, you could see on their face that they clearly didn't know the answer to the question, but the treadmill kept running over the goal line. And then they still made it to the next round, which was like, like it worked the same way for everyone, so it wasn't like it was unfair in that sense necessarily. But you could see on like the contestants who like got knocked out of the competition that they were like, okay, well, I would have known that question, so it kind of sucks that someone who didn't know it beat me out of the competition, you know? Also, one thing that's like, that feels weird. On British TV compared to Swedish and Finnish. Like, it's not like it doesn't happen at all in Finnish and Swedish TV. Like, it does happen, but usually it's like one specific host will be mean or whatever. But it's so common in British TV for the hosts to like mock participants just like for no real reason. They'll like be kind of mean. Hey, this is a big one. Which feels really weird. Like, I'm sure like some of these shows seem like ones that have been running for a while. So I'm sure that contestants sort of know what they're getting into, but still must kind of suck to be like treated like that on national TV. Because it's not like necessarily like, I get it if you accidentally or purposefully say something silly, um, and everyone's like laughing. They would just say like something normal, like they would introduce themselves like normally, like, "Hey, I'm a teacher," and they would be like, "I bet all your students are laughing at you," and it's like, "Hello." And like that one was kind of one of the um less mean ones. It's just the one that I remembered. But sometimes they'd just be like completely out of left field, be like, "Haha, you suck," and it's like, what? Where did this come from? Weird stuff. Weird stuff. Um, but yeah, my hotel was close to Edinburgh Zoo, so on one of the days when I had more energy, uh, I went out to the zoo. Um, and it was pretty nice. I was not prepared for how much it would be like a hike to reach the giraffes and like the tigers and stuff. Um, because like on the map, they have marked out paths that are steep. But it turns out that what's steep is relative to everyone. And like I'm guessing the steep ones, because I've avoided those mostly. Except for when I was going downhill. I went on them sometimes there. But like I'm guessing the steep ones that are marked out are the ones that are potentially too steep for like wheelchairs and stuff like that. But like as a walker with occasionally bad feet, and also as someone who was having difficulty breathing because congestion, um several of the non-steep paths were pretty steep. Like I had to take several breaks getting to the giraffes. But to their credit, um they do have benches and stuff around. Um maybe not quite as many as would be nice, but also they have a decent amount. And they do have accessibility options. Like they had, you could hire scooters, you could hire, you could rent scooters and rent wheelchairs, and you could also get assistance, like a park assistant, to help you around. So those are options that are available there. Whoa, hello. Yeah, I'd say it's a huge whale for sure. Oh my god. Wait. That's not the... Where's the whale? Saltwater. Whale? Whale. Oh, it's not... Okay, here. Where did you go? Whale. Let's go! That sure is a huge whale. Oops. Oh, well. Let's return to the sea. Anyway. But yeah, I was really happy to go anyway. Um what? Oh. Oh. If you hold in middle mouse button and turn, you can turn your character without... Oop, no. Okay. Yeah, I was really happy to see the capybaras. They were new for the year. I think they might have arrived in May, so they were new. Um, and they were very cute. Um, and so I was very happy I got to see them. Haggis wasn't out while I was there, or if he was, I missed him. Um, oh, I got the coelacanth! Yay! I love you, coelacanth. Okay, wait. I got... Oh, come on. I got an achievement for that one, so let's go check it out. What was I saying? Capybaras. Cute. All... I saw all the big cats. Like one of each at least. They had a cheetah, they had at least one lion. Yippee! And they had two tigers that I saw, and they were all napping. There was one more big cat, I think, which is one I'm not thinking of. Well, anyway, big cats all napping. But they were at least napping in places where you could see them. Which was player? Where'd my username go? Oh well. Not that it matters, but what am I missing in my fish encyclopedia? Progress or salt water. Missing some shining, glistening, opulent, radiant, alpha. But I have 100% species. for salt water. 93 on fresh water. Missing 3 on miscellaneous. Okay. Well, let's go for fresh water. Wonder if there's any specific freshwater situation I need to be at, but let's check it out here. Oh. Yeah, Haggis wasn't out, which is the pygmy hippo baby. But there was at least one pygmy hippos. Also napping. The sloths were cute, they were napping. Koalas were cute, they were napping. The otters were super hype. They were really fun to watch. They were just having the time of their life. And the gibbons. The gibbons were also very cute and also very, very hype. Really recommend looking at those. Microscopic drum. But I got a little haggis pin for myself because it was very cute. They do have double star. They do have options to follow zookeepers around and like get to interact with some of the animals. The otters were some that you could interact with, and I think maybe the sloths possibly. Oh, massive bluegill. All right, I got some other achievements. Let's check out the scoreboard. That was only money. Let's see. There are title, overalls, cowboy heat, invest. Ooh. Oh, a golden bass. Okay. Serious cosmetic, sawfish. There's still a bunch of stuff here for me to figure out. Alright. Let's keep going here in the fresh water. Oops. Oh well. Why not? What was I saying? Yeah, so Edinburgh Zoo was nice. For the restaurant that I went to, there's 2 big ones. You do need internet to order at that one because you have to scan the QR code and order through their web interface and pay through the web interface. But you can pay with card, and they have free Wi-Fi in the restaurant. So like you do need a smartphone to order at the restaurant, at that restaurant at least. But doing it was smooth going, even as a foreign visitor. but worth thinking about if you're like if you don't have a smartphone, I guess, or if you don't want to do that for some reason. Uh, I'm not sure about the Penguin Cafe or the other restaurants because they were full because it started raining, so everyone was like, let's have lunch now, which was also my thought, unfortunately. That said, it didn't take much time to get my food and eat, so it was fine. Oh, the palace cat there was super cute too. I think there were two at least. They were very cute. And they were also running around and being active, which was nice. Yeah, and then I didn't do too much else in Edinburgh, unfortunately. I do want to go back sometime when I'm healthier and have more time. Because it's a really pretty city and it's fairly walkable. Like if you have, oh, thanks for the hearts. um, like if you have if you have difficulties going up and down steep roads, stairs, and such, um, it can be difficult to get to and from places. Um, but overall, a lot of the things that are interesting to see in Edinburgh, as a tourist at least, um, are within walkable distances from each other, as long as you're not like, if you're able-bodied, it's a very walkable city. But because everything's so close also, the times that I had to take a taxi or an Uber, it wasn't that expensive to do so, which helped a lot. But obviously that is a cost that you'd have to factor in, but doable. Thank you, Jose. Welcome to the stream. I'm just chatting a bit about my trip to the UK that I did recently when I unfortunately got sick. So I didn't do too much. But I hope you're having a good time. I'm still a little bit sick, so I'm sorry if I cough, but I'll do my best to not. But yeah, I think that's most of what I did in Edinburgh. Then I took a train to London for the concert. And I picked specifically a window seat because I was like, I think it was like a 3-4 hour train trip. So I was like, I want to be able to see the countryside. And wouldn't you know it, the specific window seat that I picked was by a wall without a window. And I was like, okay. Like, don't advertise it as a window seat if the seat doesn't have a window. Like, come on. So I was sitting there full 4 hours, basically no visibility. Like, I could see a little bit out the windows from other seats, but basically nothing the entire trip. So I was like, well, okay. But I did nap a little bit, and they at least had Wi-Fi, so I could listen to podcasts and watch videos. But it was like, come on. I specifically took a window seat so I could look out at the countryside while traveling, and then I didn't get to see anything. So that was kind of sad. Um, but at least then when I got to London, the temperature difference was drastic. Like when I left Edinburgh, it was like 15 degrees Celsius. Um, and then in London it was 24. So I was like dressed for warmth. Also because like since I was a little bit sick slash recovering slash whatever, I was trying to stay warm. Yippee, rank up. I was trying to stay warm in general. So then when I reached London, it was like I'm boiling. But at least at least it wasn't freezing and it wasn't raining, so um, that's a bonus. Um, so I didn't have too much time in London, but the day I arrived, I stashed my suitcase at the um, luggage storage at King's Cross and went to Forbidden Planet and some of the other nerdery shops nearby there. Didn't find anything I liked though. I will say, like, if you're someone who's like in or around London, Forbidden Planet, the mega store, definitely is like well stocked on manga, comics, books, and like some merch, but not as much as I had expected. But definitely well stocked in that department, but they didn't have much that I was interested in that they don't also publish in French. And because manga in French is so much cheaper, I don't buy manga in English if I can avoid it. So I didn't end up buying anything there. There was one book that was like it wasn't called IKEA, but it was definitely um designed to look like IKEA and basically be IKEA. But it was like an IKEA based horror book that I considered buying, but in the end I didn't. Because it was like when I peeked inside, the writing looked like it might be not necessarily bad, but not great. And it was a nicely designed book, but therefore it was also expensive. So I was like, I don't know if I'm willing to pay this much for a book that's probably mediocre. um, but yeah, then I went out to the hotel where my sister was already, um, and we went out to dinner, and we went to a pizza place, and they had like meal sets, so we were like, we'll take the one that has like an entree, a pizza, and a drink. Um, and we were like, we want garlic bread, so we got garlic bread, but the thing was, it was like cheesy garlic bread, and it was garlic bread that was almost the size of a pizza. So basically it was like we bought two pizzas each. And I also had a cheesy pizza, so I ended up with cheesy garlic bread the size of a pizza plus a cheesy pizza. And it was good, but it was way too much. So now I'm like, I don't know if I want to see a pizza for a while. Like, I think I'm good on pizza for the rest of the year. Yeah, it was delicious, but huge. um definitely filling, but not something I'd do regularly. went back to the hotel to just sort of glonk out. Um, my sister was sewing a bit because she did a cosplay for the Baby Metal concert, one of their concert outfits, not the one that they had on stage now, um, but a very very pretty cosplay, and I ended up helping to finish the last parts the next day before the concert. Um, helped. Oh, no bait. Um, I helped making the hair crystals. And helped sewing together some parts that were easier to get right when worn. Um, so I helped with all of that, and we ended up finishing it in time for the concert. Um, there are things that definitely could be tweaked and will be tweaked, but I did my best with the assistance. And then I helped taking photos and stuff at the venue. Um, and we went to have dinner at the O2 Arena. And we went to the oh yeah, earlier that morning we went to the exclusive merch store. Um, before, which was nice. It was very nice to just go to the venue, get our merch, go back to the hotel and finish up our preparations. And then I only bought one of the tour t-shirts, so I wore it to the concert, but my sister dropped off some of the merch that she bought. So that was nice just to be able to buy it in peace and quiet, and then return to the venue before the concert, and not have to worry about merch queues and all of that. And it was very nice. We had seated places, which was fortunate because I would not have lasted standing for that concert. Apparently the setlist was longer than at least than during the Brussels stop, because my sister was at both. But it was really good. I really liked the openers, Bambi Thug and Poppy. I knew of Poppy from when she was doing pop, but she did really good metal vocals as well. Um, so definitely will check out both of them more, because they had good vibes and I really liked them. And the Baby Metal performance was excellent. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She has, but I wasn't aware that. Well, my sister told me before we went to the concert, but I knew her from when she did pop, playing an android, when she was pretending to be an android. Because we discussed her, like I found her separately first when she was doing this, because it's like stuff that's within my circle of interest. Um, being a vocal synthesizer fan. um, and we also discussed her when I was studying interaction design, uh, and discussing like reality and tech and all of these things. But yeah, so I wasn't aware that she had pivoted to metal at some point. But the set was excellent, very good performance, very fun. So definitely gonna check out more of hers. Um, and it was cool to see them collab also at the end, which they apparently didn't necessarily do at the other stops at the tour. So guess I was Guess I was at the right one. No, it was a good concert. Um, and then afterwards we took an Uber back to the hotel, and uh, I will say nothing weird happened, and it was fine. But like when when we got matched with a driver, the driver was like, "Okay, so I parked a bit away from the venue, because it was so congested at the venue." And we were like, okay, that's smart. But then he started leading us through, like, it wasn't a huge forest or anything, but it was like a wooded, dark part between two roads. And I was like, it's probably gonna be fine. But if we die now, I'm gonna be so upset. But yeah, he had just parked at a parallel road to make it out of the area faster. It was fine, but I was like, this is such a if this was a horror movie, we'd be dead. um but like I was keeping track of like the map and holding my phone and being like, I'm so ready to call 112 if we need to. But it was fine. The driver was very polite and drove us to our hotel without issue and everything. So like it was okay. It just was it was just like one of those moments when it's like, haha, we're abroad, with no family or friends nearby to help us if something happens. This had better go well. Mm, oof. Yeah. And the next day, I mostly just packed and headed to the airport. Um, I did take an Uber all the way to the airport, which took a while, but it wasn't too expensive considering the distance. And I will say, Heathrow Airport, I mean, no airport is like the place I want to be at forever. But Heathrow Airport was decent. There was a lot of seating spaces, and there was importantly a lot of seating spaces that you didn't need to pay for stuff at a cafe or a restaurant at. So already there, 10 out of 10 airports. um the stressful part was like that they didn't give me a gate number until an hour before the plane was about to depart, which I hate. I was there several hours in advance also, so I just ended up sitting in a random area, which again, excellent that they had seating. 10 out of 10. I love that. Um but also like I don't like having to rush to a gate last minute, especially when it's a new airport for me and I don't know how long it takes to walk places. Um, but it was fine. Um, Made it to my plane, no issue. Uh, and then I landed at 11 at night in Helsinki, which was surprisingly fine, everything considered. I thought I was going to be super exhausted, but because of the time difference between the UK and Finland, 11 in Helsinki was like 9 p.m. UK time. So I'd been there long enough to adjust, so it was like I wasn't too tired. And I wasn't even too tired when I finally got, like, I had to take a night bus home. And I was home at like 2:30 a.m. which I thought was gonna be super exhausting. But you know, I was tired at that point, but I was like normal tired and not like I'm going to die tired, which was nice. Um, and that was basically the trip. I'm really sad that I didn't have enough energy to do more. There were a lot of things that I had planned to see and do. Um, but at least, oh, thank you for subscribing, Jose. Yeah, I usually stream on Saturdays, so I'll be here. Have a nice weekend. Thank you for the hearts. um, so yeah, that was my UK trip. Um, Definitely want to go back to Edinburgh. I don't know about London. Like there, of course there's stuff to see and do in London, but and to be fair, I didn't see so much of London. I'm sure that if there had been more things that I'd planned on seeing and doing, I would have maybe liked it more. But overall, I think I preferred Edinburgh for sure, over London. Uh, it was just like, and don't get me wrong, Edinburgh is still a kind of touristy place, at least during touristy seasons, and in touristy places. Uh, but it wasn't as as much and as hectic feeling as London. Um, and also just like the visual vibes of Edinburgh is very nice. Um, but all things considered, I'm glad I went. Next time I definitely don't want to be sick. But Edinburgh is very nice. And I want to see more parts of the UK also. Um, like I've been to at least like one place in England and Scotland now, each. I'd like to see Wales and Ireland also at some point. Um, but I also definitely want to go back to Edinburgh. And like, I mean, I don't necessarily want to go to London just to go to London, but if there's any event or stuff like that that um I got oh, I caught a diamond. Nice. Okay. Have I done that before? I don't know. Miscellaneous. Diamond. Yeah, it cost one. So that one's a new one. Okay, well. Yippee. What am I missing? Couple normal. All of the alphas. Can you get like an alpha branch? That would be funny. Yeah. Like I don't hate the idea of going back to London at some point for something, but if I'm just having like a visiting a city vacation, I don't know that I'd pick London first. Personally. Edinburgh I would be happy to go back to. But I also think like, I mean, I don't, assuming I have the time and energy and funds to go somewhere again, I'd probably pick another country to begin with, just to see something else also. Um, At some point, I'd love to go to Iceland. Um, I've technically been there once, but it was a layover as a baby, so I don't really, you know, it doesn't really count so much. Oh, forgot to put on bait. Actually, maybe this is a good enough time to stop for now. I got my chat out of the system. Man. Gah. Alright. Um, wishing you all a very happy June. Happy Pride Month to all of those of you who have Pride events in this month. Well, actually, just Happy Pride Month in general, whatever. Um, but yeah, the places I'm in usually don't have their events in June, but doesn't mean we can't be prideful anyway. Um, and yeah, wishing you all a very, very nice summer. Um, and take care of yourselves. Good night.